We
them a
did have
little
some
bit.
winners. We did have some winners in the trade deadline. My team did nothing. Quite literally nothing. They are 2 points out of the wild card spot, though, and that is
They don't
insane
need to
to
do
me.
anything. You're just house money.
They didn't need. They didn't
If you
need to
make
do
the
anything.
playoffs with the kids, fucking great. If not, who cares? Had a great season.
It's not like we've got the Russian coming in the wings. He's going
Yeah.
to be real good too. So yeah, they stood pat. You know who did need to do things and didn't get much better. I look at the teams that didn't get better, and like Edmonton needed to get better. They got a little bit better, but not really compared to the other guys. Um, God, there were like let's talk about Rantanen because this is a perfect time to kind of bring that up. Dallas is an absolute winner
Yep.
this deadline. They were already a great team. They were already in really good position, and they went out and got a guy who, for all accounts, had no intention of ever playing for Carolina. And I don't know who to believe. Did you read what the
I
agent came
did.
out and said after?
I
He was like,
did.
"No, no, no, you misunderstand.
The
I don't
fact
think we
the
misunderstood."
fact Carolina was so quick to move on from him showed like the team wouldn't have done that if they thought there was even a modicum of a chance that he was going to sign there.
100%.
They're in contention for a Stanley Cup, have been for years now. A guy like Rantanen could totally put them over the top, despite him not
Big
really
time.
fitting in for those those few weeks there. Like
Yeah.
it's still not somebody you move off of like that. If again you had any inkling that he could sign there, I did read what his agent had to say, which is kind of wild. He basically was like Rob Brindamore, "Shove it, pal. You don't know what you're talking about."
Hey, why don't you shut up? How about that, Rod?
uh,
I don't know if you want to tell Rod Brindamore to shut up.
yeah, for
That
real,
guy's
Rod the Bod.
that's not the guy I want to fight.
I have a excerpt from from the article that I was reading. When
Yeah.
Rantanen made the decision not to extend in Carolina, Scott, his agent, said he communicated that fact with enough time for the Hurricanes to find a trade partner that would allow them to recoup the best possible assets. Uh, that is not what Carolina was like from the get go. He did not want to sign here. If that's
He
the
didn't want to be.
case, why did you trade for him for all of that shit? And so, like, they were trying to negotiate a contract with him before he even got out of Colorado. And he was like, no, I don't want to go there. I want to stay in Colorado. And Colorado's like, you're headed that way,
Colorado's
pal.
like Colorado
I got your bags
won.
packed and your tickets.
Yeah.
Colorado won for sure. They're loaded now. They added Charlie Coyle. They added Brock Nelson. Like, their biggest issue was center depth, and they cleared that up real quick with a
Yeah.
couple of really good pieces. The whole Rantanen thing is wild. Uh, I guess
Dallas
they,
signs the extension.
yeah, there. I
Like
guess there was
they get
only.
it done.
They said there was only four teams that he would have signed with. Dallas is one of them. 8 years, $96 million extension on top of the trade package they sent to Carolina, including Logan Stankoven, who I really like, a
Yep.
26 and 27 third round pick, and a first in 2028 and 2026. Yes, so two firsts
Where
and
do you
two
put
thirds and a prospect.
where do you put Carolina at this deadline? Because I feel like in some way they're a loser. Because they
I think you
had
lost out on the fact that you made your big swing on a guy who's not here. And then you now
well,
had to
that's just so
recoup anything you could. The recoup that they got isn't bad at all. I'm cool with the package they got back.
it's not bad,
It's not
but
bad.
they gave up. But you gave up Natchez, who you
Correct.
liked. You
That's the
gave up
problem.
other
Is
guys who you
Natchez is
liked.
now in Colorado, and you
Killing it.
have basically not, like you traded Natchez for Stankoven, basically,
Yeah,
which you would have
and that's
never
not
done.
you wouldn't even considered. No, great picks. They got some picks back, and that'll help. But
And
it
Natchez is absolutely
wasn't
killing
helpful.
it with McKinnon now.
Yeah,
Looks
he
like they
is.
didn't even lose Rannon.
No. Uh, you have any winners or losers that you want to proclaim? I think the Kings are a loser in my mind.
The
They didn't
Kings
do
are
anything
always
to.
losers. They don't do anything.
They
They
did
have
not.
no
They,
scoring.
they
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 have all these
addressed
prospects,
nothing.
and they play great defensively, and they just have nothing on offense, and they refuse to address it. I guess they
Drew
tried
Doughty
to
came
with
back.
Luc Dubois. My bad. And
Yeah,
that didn't really work out, but I don't know. I don't like the Kings. I really don't. I think that team is heading nowhere.
no chrome
I
domes.
think the Avs bulked up. I think the Leafs got better.
They did. They did,
I have
but
I
they didn't
have
get better enough.
4 teams. Same vein of where I'm going here. I have 4 teams from the East and 4 teams from the West. I want you to rank the four after the deadline. So we'll start the West,
Okay.
since we already kind of talked a lot about the Stars and the Avs. So Stars, Avs, Oilers, Jets. I think the Jets got better too. They're a winner. They added Shen and I can't
That's
remember who else they got,
that's
but they got
it's
depth pieces, which is what they needed.
in order. I think it is Colorado, Dallas, Winnipeg, Edmonton,
Agreed. That's the exact
and
order I have them in.
and and the reason I go that and that's not to say that I don't think Edmonton can compete. Obviously, you have Draisaitl. Obviously, you have McDavid. You've got Vander Kane coming back off LTIR when the playoffs start. He was basically almost ready to go, and they begged him not to come back so they could get some depth and salary cap relief. I know that there's questions about why, because they don't have that's part of their CBA. They don't have to be cap compliant. So that's the rule. I don't know if it'll change eventually. It'll probably change because Vegas circumvented it hard. Chicago circumvented it
Dallas
during
kind of
the
just did to get Randon.
the Taves Kane years in Chicago. They did this, and no one said, no one remembers that, but that's how those guys won. Tampa obviously did it to win. Everybody that's in the last like 10 years at some point has probably done something similar. Winnipeg is good. They're a really good team. Obviously, their entire playoffs depend on Hellebuck showing up. Last season, they were a good team. Hellebuck did not show up. They got the doors blown off them in the first round, and it was like, oh, never mind, Winnipeg's out. So if Winnipeg can play better in front of him and he can kind of hold his own, they're in there. I think Colorado is the clear winner here. They're obviously the strongest team in the West, in my opinion. Dallas is very, very good. They're very, very close, but I'm going to give the experience and the Nathan McKinnon edge. I don't know how you can go against Nate. 1,000 points, by the way. 1,000 points already.
Crazy.
Yeah. All
Now
right, give me your
Colorado's
East.
nasty. I put a bet on them the other day to win the cup. Before the Coyle trade too. Actually, it was after the Nelson trade. Um. So for the East, I have Toronto, Carolina, Florida, and Tampa. This
The
one was
Florida
harder
teams
for
are
me.
at the top.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's I think it's Florida and Tampa 1-2. I just trust Bob more than I trust the rest of Tampa. Not Vassy. Vassy's still Vassy, but I trust Bob and
They're
what
putting a
Florida
lot
has.
on Yanni Gord and Bjorkstrand coming in.
Yes.
Putting a
Yes, they
lot
are.
on those two guys. They need production to come around from them.
I want to be a Leaf hater and put them at 4, but I think I'm going to put Carolina at 4.
I agree.
Um, post Rantanen deal,
I
you're
think
just
Carlo
not in.
for the Leafs is huge. They're also a match made in heaven because they're both going to choke in the playoffs.
Yes. Leafs they still have to do something. They haven't proven anything to me. Like not a thing.
No, they're still going to be what the Leafs are every year. I didn't put the Capitals on here because they didn't need to make any deals.
No,
They got Bavillier, which I like
I
that
like that.
move. I like Bavillier, but that they didn't need to do anything. They're kind of cruising right now.
They're in a good
They're
spot.
going to be the 1 seed.
Yeah. Where do you so we've got God, how many games we got left? 20 something games,
25 something.
18 games, 18 20 games, something like that. Um who do you see being the big like the movers right now? Because there's a couple of teams that are hot. Um, Post deadline is always funny to me because some teams make the all in moves and it doesn't click and they can fall off a cliff a bit. Ottawa made a bunch of moves. They swung big. Ottawa made a big swing early on with Buffalo, and they're on the edge of the playoffs. And it would be such amazing justice to see Montreal get in over Ottawa after doing literally nothing.
About halfway through that
Uh,
sentence, I realized where it was going.
That's cute. That's cute. I love Allmark, but not a fan of the Senators. I like the Leafs light.
Low key, I think Columbus can sneak up on the Devils.